right, stop. Everybody stop and acknowledge your partner. All right. So we actually did have somebody in the room who has not done the forum. So Debbie, thank you for bringing your friend. Yeah. Okay. So you probably didn't know that was the setup.
I didn't until you explained.
Yeah. Okay. So I promise you, she is in the best hands she could possibly be in. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. So let's jump right in. So I want to just share. Like I said, we'll share a lot throughout the seminar. Not because, for sure, the seminar is not about me. So any sharing that I do is intended to make something available for you. Okay? But just so that we can start to get related to each other, so you have some, like get who I am. So I did the Lamar Forum in 1996 when I was 5. And, now I used to call people like that, gosh, they're old timers, they've been here forever. Now I've been here for 23 years to go to the forum. And it has absolutely impacted every single area of my life. And not like, you would think, well, after 23 years, what's left? Here's the thing about this work and about transformation, it's ongoing. Because we're ongoing. Your life didn't stop after you did the forum. There are whole new worlds to create. There are whole new things that are going to happen. I was leading a seminar when my mother died. Not literally when she died, but at that time period. I was leading a seminar when I started my relationship with my partner. Actually, that relationship got created in a seminar that I was leading, and we've been together for 10 years. Okay, so literally has impacted every area of my life. And as a seminar leader, I'm not on staff. So I'm not on staff. I'm not paid by Landmark. I don't get a cent for being here. I don't get a poster or even mileage. Okay, so it really is on completely, my time, whatever that is. My time isn't my time. My time is your time. As a seminar leader, my time is your time. As a seminar leader, I exist for you. The Distinction Seminar Leader only exists for graduates of the Landmark Forum. If there were no graduates of the Landmark Forum, there would be no Landmark Seminar Leaders. Who would we be leading to? Right? So literally, I exist for you, is that distinction. And so I have a partner of 10 years, and now this extended family, and then my dad lives with us as well. So my dad's 89. He's been living with us for the past 2 years. So you could say I have a full life. Oh, and then I have a job. So just a little. So I'm a director of learning, design, and development for Cox Automotive, and I've been there since June, and it's great. Like such a great, awesome job for me, and a place to be, and a great place in my career. So I've got a full life, and this work, and then Junie, was it you I was talking to the other day? So Junie's been around for a while, and she said, I don't understand. How do you do everything you do? Because I share a lot on Facebook, and people kind of follow what's going on, and I have a full life, but I created having a full life, and I love my life, and sometimes I don't. And then I have the distinctions of this work to empower me in whatever I'm dealing with. And that's what I want for you. So you have this as well. All right, so it's a little bit about me. So we're going to get right into working from the intention. And again, the intention of this seminar. So unlike the forum, you didn't have a board like this in your forum. But in the seminar, we have an intention that all 10 sessions of the seminar series are intended to fulfill. And that's to empower you to create and live from, and I think that live from is the really key thing in there, from commitments that leave you enlivened and fulfilled. Because who in here can create a commitment? And you've created lots of commitments in your life. So you have commitments, okay? But do you notice that part isn't necessarily difficult, except if you consider yourself commitment phobic. But how do you live from the commitments you actually created? Oh, and by the way, that you're enlivened and fulfilled. That seems like a much more challenging game, right? And that's what we're up to in here. And then this session has particular, so that's the whole seminar, and then each session will have its own specific intentions. Okay, so the first one is to create a foundation of workability for the intention of the seminar to be fulfilled. So if we're going to fulfill this, which is a pretty big deal, okay, we have to have a foundation on which that's going to happen. So we're going to create that foundation, and then we're going to begin to distinguish the commitments you are. All right, so we're going to jump right into that conversation, and we want to get clear about commitment as a distinction. Now, every single one of you walked in the room with already having the word commitment. That's not a new word for you. And with a lot of words, some people use the word commitment without ever really taking the time to explore and examine what that is. You know, and it's actually amazing. If you start looking up words in the dictionary, you will find out, like I have, that, we keep dictionaries up in the room all the time. That's not, it's not like, I don't know what, but, it's amazing. Words are amazing. We live, our whole existence, our whole reality is constructed by language. But we use words all the time, and we'll rarely stop and actually examine that word. Okay, so we're going to do that with the word commitment. So when I say commitment, just when I say, this isn't like you have to come up with some great answer or like looking good or like a transformed answer. I just want to know, when I say the word commitment, what do you hear? Just what comes to mind? Yeah, Matt? Integrity? Yeah, so just raise your hand and I'll call you. Integrity. Integrity, okay, Rohini?
Promise.
Promise.
Dedication.
Dedication. Malati?
Yep.
Okay. Yes.
Discipline. Kamore.
Kamore. Discipline. Okay. Abdul?
Yeah, persistence.
Persistence. Okay. Yeah, Michelle?
Obligation.
Obligation. Okay. Yeah, Pierce?
Drudgery.
Drudgery. And now we're telling the truth, Reggie.
Being responsible for something that I said I was going to do.
Being responsible for something you said you were going to do. Yeah. So I'm going to do this a lot because it'll take me a couple sessions and then I will have all your names.
Sadia.
Sadia. Yeah.
Being authentic.
Being authentic. Okay. Great. Yeah. Nat.
History. History.
History. Okay. Jenny.
Compromise.
Compromise. All right. Alex.
Duty bound.
Duty bound. Did you just do the form?
No, I did the form like a year ago.
Okay,
did
but I
the
met you
advanced
before.
course.
Have you been
Yeah.
in my seminar before?
No, but I think you might have spoken at one of my
Okay.
seminars, or especially
I think I coached
Yeah.
somebody who was through seminar. Okay.
Yes, maybe, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Joski.
Josiki.
Yeah, family.
Family. Okay. All right. Who else? Blanca.
Do anyway.
Do it anyway. All right. Mac.
Being accountable.
Being accountable. All right. Buddy.
Sacrifice.
Yep. Yep. Daniel.
Pressure.
Pressure. Okay. Joyce.
It's like this fear comes up for me when I think.
Yeah, fear. Ginny.
Yes, I do.
Okay. So like a yes, I do. Yeah. And Kelly.
Devotion.
Devotion. Okay. Yeah. And Hal.
Integrity.
Integrity. Mary.
Context.
Okay, context. All right, see, there's a whole bunch of stuff in there, right? So you could say you didn't walk in here as an empty vessel regarding commitment. Or you didn't walk in as a space of nothing regarding commitment, just the word commitment. We're not even talking about your specific commitments. So there's already a whole lot there. And in the already always understanding of commitment, people often understand commitment as some of the things that were said. Burden, troublesome, constraining, limiting. In fact, one of the definitions that I looked up of commitment it pretty much said that exactly, like giving something that you have that restricts freedom. Wow, that's really empowering. I want to go create a lot of those. Okay, I mean, that's the dictionary definition. So, we inherited this whole world. Oh, by the way, did you make any of that up?
Yeah.
So all that stuff that
Yeah.
you just said, did you, no, you made it up like a story.
Right.
Did you create any of that?
No.
No.
No. Well, then where the heck did it come from?
Pass.
Yeah, that you inherited this whole world of commitment, as human beings that we're born into. People talk about being overly committed as if somehow too much commitment is a problem. I'm overly committed. Can't take on anymore. In our day-to-day relationship to commitment, we sometimes even talk about our fear of commitment. Like Joyce said, fear, even just saying the word fear comes up. Or it's like somehow it's threatening or it's dangerous. Like, oh, look out, there's a commitment. So in the already and always relationship to commitment, people also might collapse commitment with desire. Like somehow if you want something badly enough, that's the same thing as being committed to it. It's not. But we live like that. So how many of you can see that you often experience being constrained or limited by commitment, by the whole world of commitment? You can actually experience the constraints, like it's almost like a trap. Yeah, me too. My hand should be up. Okay, so we can't go on. We can't actually fulfill that intention. Now, it's not a problem that any of that's there. We want to drive that up so we can start to see what's already there that you've not had any access to. It's only when you can strip away the notions of obligation, burden, and desire from commitment that you can begin to actually discover commitment as a distinction. So when I mean distinction, I mean something that wasn't already there, something that wasn't already inherited. Something that we're going to create is something unto itself. It's distinct from everything else. Commitment as a distinction lives in the domain of being. So you could say that a commitment actually gives you who you are being. Right? Like, so that whole part that I shared at the beginning about the getting back here, so my commitment in my word of being a seminar leader and being here to lead this seminar gave me being someone that was going to be unstoppable, who was unstoppable in getting back here, and would have taken whatever action I needed to take for that to happen. So that commitment gave me who I was being, throughout the day. So consider that commitment as a distinction is the act of inventing oneself or giving over of oneself to a possibility. So let me say it again. Sorry, I used the wrong word. Consider that commitment as a distinction is the act of investing oneself or giving oneself to a possibility. So you're investing, so the things that you say that you're committed to, you're investing yourself in those things, you're giving yourself to those things. Yeah, question?
Yes. Thanks for, first of all, sharing yourself with us in the beginning.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It kind of gave a floor to what you're saying now in regards to your commitment.
And Reggie, could you, so just as an agreement in the seminar, when you're speaking, if you could stand up, so there'll be times when you're just shouting out and it's like we just did and you can sit for those, but if we're actually interacting, if you could stand up so people can hear you. Thank you. Go ahead.
So, and I appreciate that. That sets a floor. But what I'm hearing, and because I'm fearful of making too many commitments, is it depends on the kind of commitment and what I'm committing myself to. So I was committed to be here as well.
Yeah.
That was a choice. A lot of some commitments are decisions that feel like they're restricting me from my freedom. I don't want to decide. Like I committed myself to being in the Army. That was a bad commitment.
Yeah.
There's other commitments and things that I can do that would take away from my freedom, my free time, that cause me to have to be someplace at a particular time. But I've been living in freedom. That's been my choice. I'm committed to myself. I'm committed to my own well-being.
Mm-hmm.
So it's maybe I don't know where I'm going with that, but that's what's coming to my mind right now.
Yeah.
It's keeping me from really processing going forward because it's a choice or decision. Does it depend on what I'm committed to? That makes a difference in what you're explaining now.
Yeah. Well, and so right on. Yeah, and here's what I invite you to consider Okay, and we're gonna, this is discovery. So don't take anything that I say like the truth. You wanna actually look in your own life, and you wanna discover, and you wanna examine, and you wanna see what's there for yourself, okay? So consider, Reggie, that those things that you call commitments that leave you with this experience of obligation and like this trap are things you never really invented. There might have been a whole other, like you took it on for whatever reason, you had to, or it looked good to do it, or maybe it actually did inspire you at one point in time, but whatever it was about that inspired you, you completely lost sight of. And so it turned into this obligation or trap. Now, what if commitment wasn't like that? What if commitment, when you say, I commit to X, it was totally your creation, it was totally something that gave you life, not something that dragged you down?
Well, that's the choice, and those are the only choices that I make. But there are things that I feel like I should commit to,
Yeah.
because I'm able, but I choose not to because I'm fearful.
Yeah,
I almost feel like I'm neglect
yeah.
by not committing, but I know that I don't commit because I'm phobic adjacent.
Yeah, and that whole, it's so great, because how many of you can hear yourself in what he's saying, right? Yeah, so that the whole world of should. So we're gonna get into what you say you're committed to, and then there's something else there, okay? I'm not gonna quite create it yet, but you're right, it's starting to discover that for yourself.
I'll make this last point, I'll sit down.
Yeah,
I think that may be part of what keeps me from being the best me that I can be. Because I choose to be free as opposed to being committed to some things that may take me someplace else. That probably would, but I ain't going there because I'd rather be free.
yeah. So Reggie, so if that's how freedom is constructed for you, you can't do X because you won't be free. How free are you really?
That's the question.
Yeah.
But really, yeah, I assert there's no, what you're calling freedom just means, well, it's more constraint, but it's not freedom at all. There's no freedom there.
We'll have to talk about responsibilities and choices and decisions and all of that in terms of, and then I'll have to have that conversation with myself. You know?
We're going to do it. We're actually all going to do it together in a moment. Okay, but great, you're getting us right into the conversation. Great, awesome, Reggie, thank you. Okay, so let me just say a little bit more about commitment. So once you commit to something, like when you commit to a marriage or you commit to anything, that alters who you're being in the world. You know, you're not, if you take on your marriage vows, and you're actually honoring your marriage vows, you're not going out to strip clubs and bringing home strippers or, whatever you may have done before you were married, unless if you have that agreement in your marriage. So, well, okay, so the saying I commit is not a description of something out in the world. It's an action in speaking. So there's no commitment there until you actually speak it. And then there's a commitment. So it's the whole thing is created in language. So it exists both in language, the actual saying of what you're committed to, and then it's also in action. So the actions that show up in your life that are consistent with whatever it is that you say you're committed to. And those actions also produce results in the world. Okay, so in the act of saying I commit, I am giving myself to whatever I say I'm committed to. So if I say I commit to my marriage, I'm giving myself over to my marriage. I'm giving myself to that marriage. Now, it doesn't necessarily live like that for us, though. And then we live with trying to fight our commitments. But who created the commitment to begin with? It was yours. Unless somebody stood at the altar with a gun to your head, you actually said, I take you so-and-so to be my whatever. All right, so the intention of this seminar is to give you the opportunity to bring forth a new realm of possibility for yourself and your life, in which the commitments you create give you who you are and also leave you enlivened and fulfilled in life. Okay, so we're going to have a chance to have this be real for you in your life. And Reggie, I appreciate you started to look actually at your life. So we're all going to do that now. So we're going to do a notebook exercise where you're going to actually look at your life. So if you need a notebook or a pen, raise your hand and the production team will bring those around to you. Okay, so just keep them up. All right, and everybody else take out your notebook and turn to a clean page. Regina, we need a whole bunch more too.
Who needs a pen? Raise their left hand.
Left hand.
Okay, so, all right, so on the top of a blank page, write, I am committed to. All right, so just write, I am committed to. And then take a moment and list the commitments you can see that you have in your life. Just start listing the commitments that you see you have in your life. So that you can see the commitments you have, you want to make sure you look in all the aspects of yourself and your life that are important to you. All right, so I'm going to give you some possible areas to look at, and just keep writing for yourself. If you hear something that I say, take that too, okay? So some of the areas to look at are your well-being, your relationships. And there's all kinds of relationships, you could say. And, it does make a difference to get specific. Okay, your living environment. Your house or wherever you live.